Hello and welcome back to Newsline, brought to you by People's TV. We have been closely monitoring developments on the ground in Iran for an extended period. As of now, the protests have entered their sixth consecutive day and continue to intensify. The latest reports confirm that demonstrations have spread to 17 out of Iran's 31 regions, primarily encompassing the country's major cities. International media outlets suggest that the movement has reached a critical peak, reflecting widespread public unrest. The demonstrators are openly calling for the overthrow of the government, chanting slogans such as "Khamenei is a murderer," a level of defiance that underscores the depth of public anger and the unprecedented challenge facing the ruling establishment. As Iranians welcome the dawn of the new year 2026, the nation was confronted with its first confirmed death directly linked to the ongoing unrest. At People's TV, we do not condone violence or the loss of life. History nevertheless shows that when people rise to claim their rights, resist oppression, and challenge tyrannical rule, bloodshed has often followed. From monarchies and feudal systems to modern political regimes, struggles for human rights and democracy across the world have repeatedly come at a tragic cost. This harsh reality has shaped how many nations ultimately secured democratic freedoms. Reports now indicate that law enforcement personnel loyal to the Khamenei regime have begun firing live rounds at protesters. In this escalation, the first fatality has been confirmed. The deceased was a member of Iran's law enforcement. Anger among protesters has since intensified, leading to attacks on law enforcement buildings. Initial assessments suggest the officer was most likely killed during an assault on a law enforcement vehicle transporting police personnel. At the same time, censorship across mainstream media, social media platforms, and the wider internet continues, as the regime appears desperate to prevent the world from learning the truth about conditions on the ground in Iran. This information blackout has made it difficult to independently verify certain aspects of the protests. Nevertheless, short video clips recorded by protesters continue to emerge and circulate. Although full confirmation remains challenging, Human Rights Watch organizations report that thousands may have already been arrested. As early as 2 days ago, at least 400 arrests were recorded, contradicting mainstream media reports that spoke of only dozens. In our previous report, we also shared video footage showing law enforcement officers opening fire on protesters, further highlighting the severity of the crackdown. Mainstream media have also claimed that weapons were seized from protesters. These reports are most likely false and appear to be fabricated narratives designed to label protesters as traitors and justify the use of live ammunition to crush the uprising. According to such reports, more than 100 firearms were allegedly taken into custody. While it is true that certain armed groups operate against the Ayatollah regime, and there have been past incidents where gunmen stormed courtrooms, killing law enforcement officers, judges, and at times even civilians protesting the so-called divine government, these actions should not be conflated with the current mass protests. This climate of violence and instability was not created overnight. It is a direct consequence of decades of repression imposed by Khamenei and the puppet government operating under his authority. By silencing dissent, criminalizing peaceful protest, and ruling through fear, the regime itself has pushed the country into an atmosphere where unrest, resistance, and radicalization have become inevitable. Turning next to Reza Pahlavi, the Crown Prince of Iran, who was forced into exile in 1979 following the rise of Khamenei, he has issued a special statement expressing solidarity with the protesters and saluting their courage. Overthrowing a government is one challenge, establishing a credible and widely accepted alternative leadership is another. In this context, Reza Pahlavi is increasingly viewed as a viable and unifying figure by many Iranians. Calls of victory for Pahlavi have reportedly been heard during demonstrations, reflecting this sentiment. While the future remains uncertain, there is growing speculation that Pahlavi could return to Iran and play a central role in the formation of a new democratic government if the current movement succeeds. It should also be noted that the Iranian rial has sharply collapsed amid the ongoing unrest. In response, the government removed the sitting president of Iran's central bank and appointed Abdel Nasser Hemeti in his place. Hemeti previously served as central bank president but was dismissed in May 2021 on allegations of financial misconduct. Many analysts argue that his removal at the time was politically motivated, likely in retaliation for his presidential campaign. His reappointment has sparked anger among protesters, who view it as a continuation of the same corrupt system they are opposing, further fueling public frustration over economic mismanagement and government accountability. At present, the exchange rate has reached a staggering level, with $1 valued at over 1 million Iranian rials. Recession has surged by 40% and is expected to worsen further following additional U.S. sanctions. Economic activity has come to a near halt as many business owners have closed their shops to join the protests, signaling a looming economic collapse. Analysts warn that the exchange rate could soon reach 2 million reals per US dollar. The Ayatollah regime once sought to eliminate the State of Israel, but the situation in Iran demonstrates how swiftly circumstances can reverse, leaving the nation to face the consequences of its own policies. Danny Danon, Israel's representative to the United Nations, issued a detailed statement regarding the ongoing protests in Iran, highlighting Israel's firm support for the brave citizens who have taken to the streets to challenge the country's long-standing tyrannical leadership. Danon emphasized that these demonstrators are standing up not only against political oppression but also against a regime that has consistently prioritized its own power over the welfare of its people. He pointed out that the Iranian leadership diverts the nation's resources toward funding proxy terrorist groups across the region, while neglecting the basic needs and livelihoods of its own population. The protesters, he noted, are courageously defying a government that systematically violates fundamental human rights, suppresses free expression, and maintains control through fear and intimidation. In addition, Danon underscored the Iranian regime's ongoing investment in nuclear weapons development, which comes at the direct cost of civilian well-being and economic stability. By prioritizing military expansion and regional influence over the lives of ordinary citizens, the government has created conditions that spark this unprecedented wave of public anger. According to Danon, Israel stands in full solidarity with the people of Iran, recognizing their struggle for justice, freedom, and accountability, and honors the courage of those risking their lives to confront tyranny. The statement served not only as a show of moral support but also as a reminder to the international community of the urgency of monitoring Iran's internal situation and acknowledging the aspirations of its citizens for dignity, liberty, and democratic governance. It reflects Israel's acknowledgement that the voices of ordinary Iranians, calling for an end to oppression, deserve global recognition and backing in their pursuit of a future free from fear and systemic injustice. If this report helped you see the situation on the ground clearly, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to People's TV, where truth has no agenda, and facts speak louder than spin.
Subscribe us for more details.